Hi, my name is Noel Davis with World Composting, and today we're going to go over bin number 2. Now this is the bin that I have that has the top on it and then has the plastic bag inside to hold that moisture right against the soil that's there, or the compost. So we're going to see how it's doing, see if it needs food. I think we did feed it last time, and see how the worms are doing. I also have been having somewhat of a fungus gnat issue, possibly. I've seen some tiny black bugs. So I am going to add some BTI to this, which is just a chemical substrate that actually, or I should say biological substrate, that you add to things to remove the larvae from these insects. So it's meant for mosquitoes, but it works on fungus gnats, and I will be adding that, and I've been adding it to all my systems. And it is supposed to be organic, so it's safe to use, even if you use this in your garden later. Not for drinking, though. So make sure you read all the requirements if you use it, but I am going to add that to my system to make sure that we do not get any problems and I don't have an infestation at some point. So let's go and take a look at the system. All right, here we are with bin number 2. Here is today's date, 3/19. Last update, 3/9. I needed a new sheet of tape on here. And remember, this is the one that has the bag on it, so there should be no moisture on the lid. Not surprising, there is none. But we have our bag in here, and that should have some moisture on it. As you can see here, you can see the moisture pooling up on here on this bag. I'm not seeing anything on here really, other than some castings. Sometimes I've seen some worms on these bags before, but it looks like this is pretty clean. I'm just going to go put this on top of the lid so I can put it back in afterwards. And let's take a look in here. First thing I notice, we have a worm right on top right here that isn't moving very much. This one might be towards the end of its life. It looks pretty big, but that does happen. You know, worms are going to die in your bins no matter how good you keep them, because they do die of old age as well. So the last feeding was on this side right here, I think. And I think we did feed this bin, so let's just dig down here and just see how we look. Kind of digging a little bit slowly here. Oh, I feel a ton of worms in here, and I am right. Look at that. Just a ton of worms, and they are really going to town on this area that had the food in it. Not seeing any food yet. Oh, there we go. There is some food in there, it looks like, still. So they're still going to town on that food, though, which is a good sign. Let's just see here. I can smell it a little bit. It smells a little bit like lemons almost. But you can see right here that they're really working at this food over here. So they're doing a great job of that. And we still got tons of coffee grounds in here too. So those take a while to break down, I know, in a bin from experience. So let's just put those back over there. Kind of cover that up a little bit. Let's just take a look over here on this side. And as you can tell, there shouldn't be a lot of worms over here now. They really should be in that food area. And that's sort of what we're seeing. Every once in a while we'll see a worm that maybe is just sort of scouring. Some of them do like to wander, I've noticed, as I've looked through these before. But most of them like to go right towards the food. That's where also sometimes I haven't had an issue with really worms crawling out, but there are times where people will have especially when it's raining heavy or something, there's a major change in pressure, and you might have some worms that escape your bin. As I said, it's very rare that I find that happening. But that can happen, and I think with the bag on here, I think that actually changes it where they don't want to escape. I found that there's almost none that try to leave once you have a bag on top or something like that, because the moisture's not there. So they get up into this dry area on the side here, and they're like, nah, never mind this, and just head right back down. They're not crawling on the ceiling of your or the lid or anything like that. They just stay in one place. So as you can see, though, I'm flipping through here a little bit. I'm not seeing any cocoons. But I'm not seeing a ton of worms here either. So this is a good sign. This isn't a bad thing. It means that they are congregating in the food areas where there is actual stuff for them to eat. So there's a little worm right there, another big one over there, but overall still not much in this area, and that's, as I said, that's perfectly fine. So with that, there's still a little bit of food left, but not a whole lot. I am going to feed. So I'm going to do a center feeding this time. And let's just move that off to the side here. Just trying to dig out these corners here a little bit. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of paper in here in the bottom. That's just to add a little buffer for the bottom, so that way it doesn't stick to the bottom and get anaerobic. And now we're going to put in some of the same foods that we had before. Banana, some coffee grounds, to make sure that these are lying flat. Some apple cores and a couple pieces of lemon as well, and another apple core. So there we go. Nice big feeding right in the center. It's trench feeding right along there. Actually, we're going to throw in a couple more apple cores, I think, because apples go pretty quick, I think. So there we go. A couple more apple cores. That should be a decent size feeding for this bin. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my crushed eggshell. And because this bin is a little bit newer, let me get this in. We need a lot of crushed eggshell because we have the, this is egg and crab, by the way, but we need a lot of it in there for the lime. Make sure we balance out that pH, and this container is now empty, but I can refill it later. I've got tons of eggshells that I can throw in here, so I'm not too worried about that. I am going to put a little bit of paper on the top as well, just a tiny bit. This is like half a handful, really, just to kind of sprinkle it in there, because I'm going to be adding some water. There was a little bit of moisture on the bag, but now it's time to cover this up, and we're going to cover this up really well, because I'm not having the fruit fly issue quite as much. Every once in a while I might see one, but not nearly as bad as it was before. But I am having some smaller black bugs, which might be the fungus gnats, which are pretty hard to get rid of once they add them in a bin. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to move this off to the side just for now. And I'm going to take my glove off and add a little bit of BTI water. So this has the dunks in it, or the mosquito bits, or whatever you want to call them. That has this in it. And I'm just going to, this is already soaked in pretty well into this solution here. And this is a fungus gnat. This is supposed to help, I should say, prevent fungus gnat larvae from being able to take hold. So that was one of these, 10-ounce cups of water here. So it's not a whole lot of water, but it's enough to probably get the bacteria moving in here and hopefully take out any larvae that could be in here. It's not supposed to work on fungus gnat, or I'm sorry, fruit fly larvae. It's supposed to work on fungus gnats, but we'll see. As I said, I don't really have the issue as much with the, there's a little millipede in here too. So these guys I found out, by the way, I've shown these before, but these guys right here are apparently harmless in a bin. They are a composter. I've had them in, I've taken them out before, but now I just leave them in there, let them get around, put them back in the food over there. They actually help break things down. And then you get some millipede poo in your bin, which is perfectly fine for the worms to also eat. So there we go. We've got our bin covered now. Now we just need to put on our plastic cover again. And then the lid. So that's the update for this week. Just a reminder, if you are looking to purchase any of these items, I do have Amazon links for a lot of them down below. And if you are interested in buying something on Amazon, please click those links. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me out by giving me a little bit of income to help support this hobby and keep making videos for you guys and to make them better. Better cameras, better gear. It all costs a little bit of money, and this helps out a little bit. So thank you for watching. And of course, if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below.